Hello dear students, welcome you all for power system operation and control class. Today we'll see the dependence of voltage on reactive power. So we are in the fourth module in the second half of that one, reactive power control, voltage and reactive power control. So the previous class we have seen the what exactly the reactive power, how reactive power is produced and how it is absorbed in the system, and what are the different elements um, which is having the properties of absorption or production of the reactive power, and different methods for the voltage controls we have seen. So now today we will see the directly to the dependence of the voltage on reactive power. So we consider this figure. You can see in 8.4a where a source is supplying a load. Okay. So from this we can study the voltage, how the voltage is related to the reactive power. So I will explain this figure first. With one source is connected through its impedance to one load. Load resistance is R plus jx, and load is having P plus jq, and the voltage across the load is V, and the EMF is which is from the source is E. So we can write the two phasor diagrams. One is with lagging current, another one with the leading current. You can see here it's very clear. With lagging current, you are knowing we are taking V as reference. I is lagging to the V, then IR is in phase with I, then IX is 90 degree to the I. The phasor sum of IR and IX is nothing but IZ. Totally that phasor sum of V plus IR plus IX will give us the E. Okay, so different notations you can see there, and I have marked there A, B, C, D, different things. Okay, the angle between voltage and the receiving end voltage, that is load voltage, and EMF generated is from EMF from source. The difference between those two is delta. Angle between those two. So in second figure it shows figure C shows the current if it is leading, how exactly the things happens. Okay. Now we will see the for the phasor diagram from the 8.4b. We will write E square is equal to you can see there. We will consider a triangle that O, C, and D. The values are O, C, D. You can see there. That is E, V, whatever is there. No, the triangle clearly you can see from O, C, D. This is a right angle triangle. We can write E is the according to Pythagoras theorem. We can write E square is equal to two sides. That is OA plus AB plus BC. Okay, togetherly we are calling it as OC. So we can write OA plus AB plus BC square plus DC square. Okay, now what is OA? OA is V. You can see in the figure. AB is what? IR's resolution of the cos phi components there. So IR cos phi, and our next BC is the IX sin phi. You can see IX is if you resolve into two half, then it will be in Ix sin phi and Ix cos phi. So it is nothing but Ix sin phi. Or what is DC? DC is nothing but you can see there D minus C. C we are knowing that is Ix sin phi, and D is nothing but total Ix cos phi. So if you write all those things, E square is equal to V plus IR cos phi, Ix sin phi whole square plus Ix cos phi minus IR sin phi whole square. We know that P is equal to Vi cos phi and Q is equal to Vi sin phi. That's real power and reactive power. So I can write I cos phi is equal to P by V, I sin phi is equal to Q by V. Now we will put all the values I sin phi and I sin Y cos phi and I sin phi as P by V and Q by V. So now equation changes to E is equal to E square is equal to V plus Rp by V, because there Ri cos phi is there, I cos phi is nothing but Pv. So I can write Rp by V xq by V whole square plus xp by V minus Rq by V. You can just see there how to put the values of I sin phi and I cos phi. Okay. Now I will still simplify that equation as V plus delta Vp whole square plus delta Vq whole square. For delta Vp is nothing but Rp plus xq by V in phase with V, the components. That's why I am taking it as delta Vp. And delta Vq is nothing but Sp minus Rq by V, that is in quadrature with V. So E square is equal to V plus delta Vp whole square plus delta Vq whole square. If delta Vq is very smaller than V plus delta Vp and Px is very smaller than V square plus Qx, then we can write E square is equal to V plus Rp plus X cube by V whole square, or E minus V is equal to Rp plus X cube by V, which is nothing but delta Vp. So the arithmetic difference between the voltage EV is almost approximately equal to Rp plus X cube by V. That is not exactly, but approximately. We are considering the assumptions. We can write that Rp plus X cube is equal by V. If we neglect the resistance R, then we can write the R is become 0. The total term will be 0. Rp terms will be 0. Then E minus V is equal to X cube by V, because resistance is very small compared to the inductance and all. Okay. So from the equation of this one, obvious that the receiving end voltage depends upon the reactive power drawn by the load at the receiving end bus. From this figure 8.4, whatever we are seeing in this phasor diagrams and all, we can see that the delta Vp changes the magnitude and delta Vq affects the angle. You can see here, if delta Vp changes means magnitude is changes, delta Vq changes means angle delta is going to change. It is very clear, no? So depending upon delta Vp, magnitude changes. Depending upon delta Vq, angle changes. Okay. So delta is equal to sine inverse of delta Vq by E. That depends on P. Under short circuit condition, the complex power SSC, that is short circuit power, is given by SSC is equal to E ISC conjugate or VISC conjugate. We can write V square by ZSC square, or SSC is equal to V square by X. Okay. From equation 10, we can write that V is equal to E over 1 by Q into X by V square, which is equal to E by 1 plus Q by SC, which is approximately equal to, because the denominator terms comes to the numerator, I can write it as E into 1 minus Q by SC, if Q is very smaller than compared to SSC. From this equation, I represent the approximate relationship between the voltage and the receiving end and the reactive power in terms of the short circuit strength. In this figure 8.5, it shows that relationship graphically. We can observe that if the receiving end voltage we have negative wires, means if the load is capacitive, the receiving end voltage can be greater than the sending end voltage. You can observe in this figure. Okay. So if negative wires, that is if it is load is capacitive, the receiving end voltage can be greater than the sending end voltage. Okay. So this is regarding the voltage control, dependence of the voltage on the reactive power. Okay, so we will see one problem now here. So how exactly these things? Consider a single phase 220 kV line of length 200 km. The resistance per kilometer is 0.031 ohms and the reactance per kilometer is 0.32 ohms. Compute the sending end voltage with accurate the approximate formula if the load is 500 megawatt at power factor of 0.85. So choosing a base of 100 MVA to 20 kV, P is equal to 500 by 100 means 5 per unit. Phi is equal to cos inverse of 0.85, that is 31.79 angle. Q is equal to Vi sin phi. We are having 309.87 MVAR. If in per unit means divided by 100, you will get 3.09 per unit. The base impedance is kV square by MVA. We are knowing 220 square by 100, we will getting 484 is the base impedance. Length is 200, no, so we will get the value of R and X, multiplying it by its total length. Okay, and we are having base of 484, no, 6.2 by 484, we will get 0.01218 per unit as R and 0.1322 per unit as X. V is 220 kV per unit, that is 1 per unit. With exact formula 8.7 equation, we are going E square is equal to V plus Rp by V plus X cube by V square whole square plus XP by V minus RQ by V. Put all the values, you will get E as 1.6 per unit. If resistance is neglected, then we will get the value as 1.557. The error is 1.6 minus 1.557 divided by 1.6 into 100. 2.68% is the error. Using the approximate formula, we are going, that is E is equal to X cube by V plus V, that is we will get 1.4096. Here error is 11.9%. If the sending end voltage is specified, then V is equal to square root of E minus X cube by E whole square plus Px by E whole square. So if Px is very smaller than E square minus Qx, then we can write V is equal to E minus Q by E minus Qx by E. So this is the problem which is given. So if you want further problem, it is there in 8.2. You can do it by your own. So this is regarding the reactive power control, voltage dependent supply, reactive power control. Next we will see for the interconnected system. For the time being, you try this try to understand the things and make your own notes on this one and try to solve the problems. If you find any difficulties, you can ask. Thank you.